continuation with rural development, and in continuation with diversification of agriculture, we are going to talk about animal husbandry and dairy farming. Now, what is animal husbandry? It is a science that deals with the care and breeding of animals, with their feeding, with their housing, with their health care of the livestock for getting maximum benefits. Now, what are livestock? So, livestock is, let's just take it as domesticated animals. So, what are domesticated animals? Yes, you guessed right, cattle, sheep, goat. Then you talk about pigs, you can talk about camel, the donkeys, the mules. Then also, it's a wide term. We take it as fowl, ducks, goose, poultry. All this comes under livestock. And what is important is their byproducts. See, population is growing, and in accordance with that, we must see that our livestock not only enhances, increases, but we also see that their quality is good. So that is known as animal husbandry. And then we're going to talk about dairy farming. Dairy farming is all about the dairy animals that give us milk, and we're going to talk about their byproducts. So please look at this. So talking about diversification, yes, we're going to talk about animal husbandry. So as I just told you what it is. So it's an important area of employment in India. So it is sometimes also called as livestock farming. So it's called livestock farming. So livestock consists of poultry, cattle, goat, sheep. Then poultry accounts for around 42%, cattle 25%, and goats and sheep nearly 20% share in the total livestock in India. And then if you're talking about pigs come to 1% and others also 1%. So it's like that. Now, in almost all areas, livestock farming is combined with crop farming by the rural families with a view to supplementing their income. So, another feature of crop livestock mix is, so any farmer who's growing crops, keeping livestock, well, that's known as crop livestock mix. A notable feature is that as we move from irrigated areas to semi-arid and arid areas, the significance of livestock farming increases, while that of crop farming tends to decrease. Because arid area, what do you mean by ARID? Arid area, where there is less of irrigation and there is less scope of crop farming. And important thing is that it is an important source of employment for the women. Animal husbandry is a source of alternative employment to nearly 7 lakh small and marginal farmers in the countryside. Of course, there are a lot of problems in terms of its size. We do have a good livestock population. It is perhaps the largest in the world, but if you're talking about in terms of its quality, then we are not so good. We are far behind most developed countries. The reason is that there is, we don't know enough of, the know-how regarding breeding and all is low. It's not up to the mark. And another thing is we don't have very good veterinary care. These problems have really to be addressed properly. Then let's talk about And also let's talk about uh, contribution to GDP. It contributes 30% to GDP uh, from agriculture to over 4% to the total GDP. Livestock production provides increased stability in income, food security, transport, fuel, and nutrition for the family without disrupting other food producing activities. So, we also see that let's come to dairy farming. So, dairy farming implies breeding, raising, and utilization of dairy animals for production of milk and the various dairy products processed from it. So, we are talking about that. And in the livestock sector, the success in the area of dairying is well known. Dairy farming has become an important source of livelihood to a large proportion of landless laborers and small and marginal farmers. Milk production has risen more than 9 times since 1950-51, and this can largely be attributed to the successful implementation of Operation Flood in 1970 by the National Dairy Development Board. Now, what does this board do? Under this system, farmers pool their milk production according to different grades, and that is processed. Then it is marketed in urban centers through cooperatives. And Amul Milk is a success story of such a cooperative. And it came to the father of Operation Flood, or White Revolution as this is known as Milk Revolution in India, Operation Flood. It was started by, again, let me just repeat the word, the board, name of the board, National Dairy Development Board, under the chairmanship of Dr. Verghese Kurian, also called the Milkman of India.